Hola. Buenos días, Gianluigi. Buenos días, aquí.
How many times in your career have you dreamt about playing in this match? Well, surely it's been an objective that I've had with both the club and my teammates. We've been trying to attain this objective. Surely we hadn't thought about doing it this year as the most ideal year to do it for many reasons. First, the most important was the big change, the coaching change, that in my opinion has allowed us, would have allowed us to arrive to the final in the next couple of years, but not before. So it was a little unexpected. And unexpected surprises are pretty exciting, and they make us very happy.
Ciao Gigi. Eccomi. Nicola Frega di Spazio Juve. Volevo chiederti, sei in una partita come quella di domani, secondo te le emozioni...
In a game like tomorrow, in your opinion, do emotions play a bigger role in tactics and a strategy on the field of play? Yes, sure. Emotion is very present, and it will play a very important role in tomorrow's match. It's also certain that the two teams playing tomorrow have a lot of young players, but players with a lot of experience, important experience. And so that is something that it'll allow us to manage the situation. I think regarding the beginning of the match or any other part of the match, there could be a little bit of anxiety. We could be a little nervous, but during the full 90 minutes, not so much. But in the first maybe 10 minutes, we'll see the teams the way they are and the way they've played in order to get here. Up here in the first row with a microphone,
over there, please.
Or not in the third row. If you have a microphone, first the third row and then the first row.
Ciao Gigi. Maurizio Pizzoferrato, Agenzia Area. Senti, Zambrotta, che ha giocato sia nella Juventus che nel Barcellona, ha detto che
Zambrotta played in Barca as well as Juventus, and he said that Barcelona is practically unbeatable at home, but what about away? Now that this game is being played in Berlin, do you think that could change the prediction? In my opinion, I think that neither of these two teams are going to be playing at home. So we're also a team that we're very difficult to beat at home, and we play in a certain way at home. I think that in a game like the one we're going to see tomorrow, I think that there are certain characteristics that come to the forefront and that will be determining factors in the final result. As I've said before, and also during this week, I think from an objective point of view, it's clear that Barcelona are the favorite with all of with merit, because they have magnificent players, special individual players. So I think that a team that has players like Messi, like Suarez, and Neymar, and even Iniesta behind them, it's impossible for them not to be the favorites. It's totally normal for them to be the favorites. when they are fortunate to have such magnificent players on their team. But I also think that when you face a team with players like us, with Tevez, Bonucci, Pirlo, and others, that it's clear, in my opinion, that we're not going to be a victim, and we're not just going to be sacrificed up on the altar. I'm pretty sure about that.
Masello, Corriere della Sera. A Gigi, una pregunta. Ese cambio que ha habido en el aspecto técnico
This change, this coaching change for Juventus that you've talked about, how much is that going to count in this final? And a question for Leonardo. You said in a British newspaper that this team has one of the best attacking front lines in history, and that Juve has this magnificent defensive line. How do you guys see that? Well, the coach congratulated us with a message, and what we kept on this team were all the elements that during the past few years made us the strongest team in Italy, with great determination, with great effort, and with outstanding tactical skills, with a fantastic style of play. These are our virtues, and also with hard work, we've been able to reaffirm that. I hope that I don't think we're going to lose these virtues. I think that we'll be able to keep them for this game. Talking about what you said, these games have their own special characteristics. I talked in the last few weeks about things like me taking garlic pills that allow me to keep my performance up. The game tomorrow, it's not just going to be the Barca attacking front line against the Juventus defensive line. It's going to be a game with two big teams, just as was shown in a recent match with Borussia Dortmund as well. Yeah, that's why we're here, because we are a great team.
Gigi, il mio italiano non è sufficientemente buono e fare la domanda mi dispiace.
My Italian isn't so good, so I'm going to ask my question in Spanish. With Barca such a huge favorite, do you think that that plays into your favor, that they have much more to lose than you? Surely, I think that we've got to this point, maybe just a little bit behind Barca in terms of quality, but I think that in a game like this, the differences are blurred a little bit. There's going to be 11 players on each side fighting for the ball, and just like Gigi said, we're not here to be the sacrificial lamb, so to speak.
Sorry, I didn't hear that soon enough.
We're going to take
one question.
Excuse me.
Because it's a special goalkeeper question. You are very experienced.
A question for Mr. Buffon, because he's a very important goalkeeper. You have a lot of experience between the posts over the years. And Barca's Ter Stegen is very young. What do you think about his style of play and how he can affect the game? He's a very young player,
credo anche che valutando
Well, experience is earned by playing and by playing games over the course of the season. If we look at Ter Stegen's performance in the Spanish Cup and the Champions League for Barcelona, he's
confermato
a very reliable goalkeeper, and we know to be true everything that they said about him in the last few years. In Borussia, they said a lot of great things about him, and I think that he's convinced a lot of people completely. This year, he's proved that all of those feelings are real, all the sensations are real. But you also have to realize he's a very young player, and I wish him a long and outstanding career, and that he wins a lot of games, of course, beginning the day after tomorrow, not tomorrow. Question for Leonardo. For Leonardo Bonucci.
Se cambia il tuo modo di giocare quando hai a fianco Barzagli,
How does
se me lo puoi descrivere come difensore?
how does your play change?
Resta sempre quello. Alla fine non è il
Well,
di reparto che ti fa cambiare.
my style of play is always going to be the same. It's not going to be changed by depending on which teammate is by my side on the field.
Sono sempre stato descritto come un giocatore di personalità.
But
Mi piacerà metterlo in
they always said that I was a player with fantastic characteristics out on the field, and I want to be able to prove that tomorrow.
così sfortunata, credo sia uno dei
These days, including
contro uno è fortissimo, ha fisico.
some of the,
E credo che come lui nel mondo ce ne siano pochi.
he's one of the best defenders, and I think that there are very few people like him.
Ciao, buonasera. Innanzitutto Simone Togna, Este News.
Good afternoon.
Andando in giro per Berlino a intervistare i tifosi, in tanti ci hanno detto, beh, il nuovo partito secondo
We've been around Berlin seeing all the fans.
decisivo. Cosa saresti disposto a fare perché ciò accada?
They said, fans said, hey, Bonucci's going to score the game winner.
Perché no, ci credo
What do you
anch'io.
think about that? Well, in the first place, I think the same thing. I think that that's a possibility,
Credo anche che
and I can be important and decisive.
il singolo a vincere la partita.
But as I said before,
Sarà
it,
la Juventus che è venuta qua.
there isn't going to be one individual
Semmai dovessi essere
that wins this game. It's going to be more of a team effort out of this Juventus who have come here to win.
e a mia moglie che però al momento vorrei tenere
And I did promise my wife that I would score a goal to win the game, but that was just to one person. This year, Juventus is back in the final, 30 years after.
Da mesi noi ci esercitiamo sul fatto che questa gara dal punto di vista tecnico possa
After
avere
30 years later,
le due squadre, ossia
what pressure? How do you feel the pressure? And then talking about the Barca attack and the Juventus defense, they are probably the two most important parts of this game.
la gara.
Barcelona also have barely given up any goals. What do you think is going to be the deciding factor in this game?
il ricordo dell'Aisel. Siamo stati scorsa settimana alla commemorazione.
Well, last week,
Questo pensiero, questo ricordo di una essere soltanto
talking about 30 years
arrivare a vincere questa Champions,
later,
per dedicare
it's going to be serving.
seguendo
It should motivate us to be able to win tomorrow
come detto te
and
non è soltanto la
dedicate
preso, se non sbaglio,
the victory to someone that we lost many years ago.
quindi questo dimostra che è una squadra che sa anche difendere. Credo che
They've conceded very few goals, that's true. It also proves that they are very good defensively. I think that the game will be decided in the midfield, where
Front row here, and then
and also the team that shows that has the better defense.
Martin Einstein de ESPN. Te quería consultar sobre todas estas.
I'd like to ask you about all of these things, especially the fact that Barca have very few injuries and that they're such big favorites. How do you prepare yourself psychologically in the face of such a difficult challenge? How are you going to approach this match? I think the loss to Giorgio Chiellini, our defenseman, is very important, not only on the field but also in the dressing room. His character, his personality, his leadership, I think that he's been very important to our club in these ways, and it's going to be tough without him. But we also know that we have shown an ability to overcome adversity and win when we weren't expected, and I think that's what we're going to try to do in this year's Champions League final. We're not going to worry about it. We're going to go out and try and win and achieve this dream, and we're going to try and win it for Giorgio and for the fans.
gentleman in black, and then second row.
Massimiliano Rossi della Stampa. Volevo chiedere a Leo se giocare contro Messi, Neymar e Suarez può cambiare il tuo modo di giocare, cioè se rinuncerà.
Playing against Suarez, Neymar, Messi, does this make you rethink your way of playing? And then for both of them, what have you told, what have you said to your children? Have your children asked you any questions before this match? Well, Lorenzo this morning, when he got up, he said, "Daddy, where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to Berlin." He said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, because Daddy has to go work and Daddy has to go play." And he said, "Well, I want to go to the beach." And I said, "Well, the day after tomorrow, well, I'll be back with you, and I'll bring you a present."
And then second row in white. Oh, excuse me, sorry, I didn't understand.
Ma sì, nel senso che ho un tifoso, un figlio che è molto tifoso di Messi e l'altro molto tifoso.
Yes, my son is a big fan.
Per cui
He's a big fan of me, but he's also a big fan of Neymar, so it's going to be difficult. That
sono molto dispiaciuti per la Juve perché alla fine sono tifosi.
My children said,
avrebbero preferito.
well, if it's going to be difficult for them if it doesn't go well for Juventus, because they are fans of Juventus, and they would have preferred. I would have preferred a game against Manchester City and not against Barca because of their divided loyalties. From Fox Sports in the United States, we asked you against in the games against Real Madrid, how will the fans from Juventus help to motivate the players out on the field, and what do your players do to get you up for these games and get you into it? What do you think about that?
Ma penso che non ci siano delle regole. Penso che si viva.
I don't think that there are any specific rules for that. I think you have to live in the moment, and it depends on what you transmit in the moment. I think that the fans that were in Madrid participated from the point of view of emotion. They got into the game so much. They really suffer because of what they see on the field. These are really interesting games that they give a lot to talk about. I hope that tomorrow that happens the way that it happened in Madrid. That there'll be a type of in essence, an instrument to help the players on the field and to cheer on the players on the field, so that we can achieve the objective.
And the last one, gentleman in white in the second row, please.
And that's the way I feel.
Question to Gigi, please. It's Andy Burton from Sky Sports. When you play for such a club with a famous history and so many legendary players, the ones who win these big matches are remembered and tend to go down in folklore. Can you tell me how that plays as a motivating factor for you, knowing that if you lift this cup tomorrow, you go down as one of the most important people in the club's history?
Il fatto che la Juve sia sempre stata rappresentata da
the fact that Juventus have had we've had big championship teams and big players throughout our history. You can see that with the titles that we've won.
Una grande consapevolezza del fatto che siamo qua non per caso, ma perché
we're conscious that we're not here because of coincidence. We're here because history has shown that at least in the semifinals of this Champions, Juve had the capacity to get here. It's a big responsibility because we know that if things turn out well, we'll have done something that was completely unexpected, and it'll be a victory that, not to say that it would be normal, but we would be completely elated. But if we don't win, we're not going to pull our hair out either. If we win, it'll be heard around the world, but then we have to come back in another month and a half and get back to work for next season. In my opinion, this is the way that we have to look at the match tomorrow. We are going to work hard to represent our club and represent Italy, the country, in the best way possible, and try as hard as we can to win, but nothing more. And that's the end of the press conference for Juventus. Coming up is Massimiliano Allegri, the Juventus coach.
I Buffon, de seguida també sortirà Allegri, el seu tècnic, per parlar davant dels mitjans de comunicació. Sí, és el Barça favorit, però tampoc som la víctima perfecta. Deia, per exemple, Buffon en referència a aquesta, no sé, aquesta esfera, atmosfera, millor dit, que s'ha creat al voltant de que el Barça la guanyà sí o sí la Champions.
Si algun equip té un gen competitiu sol ser els italians, i per tant és evident que la Juve demà tindrà les seves opcions. És un equip que ve d'eliminar el Madrid, ve de fer-ho al Bernabéu, segurament sense ser millor que el Madrid, però molt competitiu, i que quan en té una doncs acaba aconseguint el seu objectiu. Ha guanyat moltes vegades així la Juve, moltes vegades sense ser favorit, moltes vegades per la mínima, també la seva selecció, per tant, molt de respecte cap a un equip, evidentment que té una història al darrere.
Sense temps pràcticament entre una i l'altra, ja tenim assegut davant dels mitjans Allegri, parla el tècnic de la Juventus.
And here's Massimiliano Allegri, the head coach of Juventus.
Avendo un obiettivo importante, che era quello di arrivare.
I think that we have an important objective, which was to get as far as we could in this tournament, and we've arrived all the way to the final. I've tried to get the team to do what they already were capable of doing, which was to show everybody that they're one of the best teams in Europe.
Salve mister, per la TV cilena. La prima domanda molto facile. Come si ferma a Messi?
The first question is really easy. How do you stop Messi, Neymar, and Suarez? Second question.
Lui ha detto è la partita più importante della sua vita.
They said, some players have said that it's the most important game of their life. What do you think about that? Well, I think that, yes, it's the most important match up until now. About Messi, Neymar, and Suarez, regarding Messi, Neymar, and Suarez, well, you know, we've been thinking about how to stop them. They're three extraordinary players, so we're going to have to play very, very well. And we have to, we know that this game isn't going to end 0-0, and we have to score a goal. Good afternoon from Hungary. A few years ago, there was a match between Milan and FC Barcelona. You were the coach of Milan. Milan beat Barcelona. Are you going to use the same tactics that you did in that game a few years back? No, because at that time Barca played with a different style. Now we're seeing an FC Barcelona that has one Rakitic more, one Xavi less. They're distinctive in that way. They have some other players that they didn't have then, so it's a different team.
We'll take one in the second row here. Good evening.
Good afternoon. The player Bonucci said before
the motivation that could come from this being the 30th anniversary of Heysel. I just wondered if you could explain to us the significance for the club of that, to what extent Heysel plays a part in building the collective identity at Juventus.
Well, it's really important because this tragedy was 30 years ago, but it's always going to be a nightmarish story for football, not just for Juventus, but also for the. It's important for the world of football that this year we remember and commemorate the victims that lost their lives in that game in Heysel, and to show love and support.
Down in the second row, please. Can you put up your hand? Yes.
Buongiorno, Alessandra Bocci, Gazzetta dello Sport. La Juventus è arrivata in finale, dicono tutti, come un outsider un po', no? Ma soprattutto sembra
Juventus are here and they are not the favorite, but Luis Enrique, who just started coaching the team this year, and he's already considered a top coach. How do you feel? What do you think about Luis Enrique's job? How has he done as the head coach of Barca? Well, the results speak for themselves. Tomorrow night, surely one of the two teams will have the treble. I would have to congratulate him if he wins the treble, because it's much more difficult than what it seems. He brings the same values from when he coached in Roma, but he's coaching a different team with a different reality and different challenges. But it's obvious that he has very clear ideas about how he wants his team to play football.
And then we'll take one in the second row.
Zoran Biševski, Macedonia per Mr. Allegri. Ci sono tanti rischi che diversi giocatori della Juve domani giocano sua ultima partita. Qualcuno...
A lot of players from Juve are going to be playing their last match tomorrow.
Quanto questo disturba prima di una finale? Grazie.
Prima di una finale
Does this is this something that's talked about in the dressing room? This is a Champions League final. I don't think that that's going to affect the game. Everybody's going to be on the field tomorrow and focused and ready to go because we have to play a very good game tomorrow. And in any Champions League final, you need a little bit of luck on your side, and we hope that that luck comes to us.
And then another one in the front row.
Buonasera, sono Franco Ordine del Giornale di Milano. Volevo chiederti, Max,
Good afternoon.
c'è qualcuno dei tuoi partiti
I wanted to ask you,
se hai dovuto fare qualcosa di particolare per
are
allentare
there any players feeling tension or anxiety?
Da lunedì quando abbiamo ripreso dopo l'ultima partita
Well,
abbiamo giocato a Verona.
after the last game that we played in Verona,
È successo a Chiellini, ma si vede doveva andare così. Soprattutto perché abbiamo
we weren't too happy with the injury to Chiellini because we lost a player that had played all the road to the entire road in the Champions League.
l'annata personale. Non c'è, fortunatamente,
And he contributed a lot to the team, both on the field and off the field. But we also have Benzaghi.
bene, gioca Barzagli.
I think that he looks to be in good form, and he'll play, of course. But if he has any problem, then we are going to have to come up with another player to play in his place.
Gentleman in dark suit. Yeah, you go ahead.
Aurelio Capaldi Rai, volevo sapere cosa ti ha detto il tuo maestro Galeone e se ritieni che una delle chiavi possa essere la vostra capacità di limitare le discese degli esterni, Dani Alves e Jordi Alba in particolare.
Some of the opinion about limiting the play of Jordi Alba and Dani Alves being a key to the match tomorrow. What do you think about that? How to contain Barca? Well, more important is how can we score a goal? We have to be on top of things. We have to play a very good technical match.
La sua arma migliore difendendo bene la metà campo della squadra avversaria. Quindi lì bisogna
Yeah, and we're playing a team whose best weapon is their offensive game, and we have to play. We have to be very smart in midfield. You can't hide the fact that in this game there are limits to Italian football. Whether we're talking about Milan or Juventus, what do you think about that? I think it's part of the sport. Talking about Italian football, I think it's important to have an Italian team in the final of the Champions League. It's been 5 years since Inter won the 2010 Champions League, and no other Italian team has arrived to the final. So right now, there's certainly enthusiasm and joy for us. Everybody is waiting and hoping for Juventus to win this cup, and it's something extremely positive for Italian football, which has been the subject of negative comments by many.
Prima si parlava dei punti forti del Barcellona, le voglio chiedere invece se pensa.
Before we talked about Barcelona's strong points, do you think that FC Barcelona has weaknesses? What are they, and are you going to attack those weaknesses? And what is the key for you tomorrow to win? This is one game. There is no return leg. We have to be. Everybody has to be in good form physically and psychologically, and we have to play very well against a team that has outstanding individual players, but with great, but that play very well as a team. That really don't have any weaknesses. Guardiola said that if Messi is healthy, he's practically unstoppable. I want to know if you share that opinion as well.
Spero che domani sia battibile.
I hope tomorrow that we can beat him tomorrow. Because if not, well. Good afternoon. Buffon said before that if Juve wins, everybody would be happy, but if they lose, they wouldn't pull out their hair. But what do you think about that?
Arrivare a vincere una Champions, innanzitutto arrivare a giocare una finale.
I don't have a lot of hair to pull out, but winning this title is extremely important. We have to take this last step, which is huge and important. But all the games in the Champions League are important, and tomorrow will be the last step.
Buonasera mister, non sono tanti gli allenatori che in 10 anni passano da allenare in Serie C alla finale di Champions. Volevo sapere se la gavetta le ha dato qualcosa.
There are a lot of coaches who have arrived to the Champions League final.
E sei sempre convinto che gli allenatori incidano tra il 5 e il 10%, come ha detto anche nella partita di domani sarà.
Have you had any special advice? Have you received any special advice for the game tomorrow?
Perché quelli che determinano sono i giocatori. Poi l'allenatore ha le condizioni di fare bene.
I always said that the players are the key to the game. They have to take advantage of their individual qualities.
Una cosa importante nel mio percorso di allenatore e ho imparato molto.
In my career as a coach, I learned a lot of things from the very first day up until now, and I have to keep learning. Because if not, I won't continue to coach.
Buonasera, sono Emanuele Gambe di Repubblica, volevo chiederti Max
Good afternoon.
La prima, tu hai detto che sei venuto
Two questions.
per migliorare il rendimento europeo, voglio sapere in cosa in particolare sei riuscito a cambiare.
It was said that Juventus wants to perform better on a European level. And it's also been said that history weighs on Juventus. Juventus have lost almost all the finals they've played in. So has this idea permeated the team in any way? No, we're very focused on playing this final. We've lost 5, we've won 2, we've played 7. Barca have played 7, they've won 4 and lost 3. So you guys do the math. We'll either be 2 and 6 or 3 and 5.
Gentleman in the second row there.
La mentalità europea.
Well, the question about this, your mentality in a European stage. I said that Champions League matches are decisive. We've had an outstanding tournament this year in the Champions League. We've played matches very well, some other ones not so much. We played a very poor match in Monaco, but you can't always play your best football in the Champions League. Sometimes you play well, and sometimes you don't play as well. There's a little bit of a change when we play in Europe with 4 defense with 4 defenders in European matches, but it depends on how we interpret the match. Talking about the incident in Turkey, it wasn't such a it wasn't a nice experience, but we have to learn from those types of experiences. And Juventus, we want to win the tournament, but we know that even if we don't win, we've had an outstanding tournament this year. Our performance has been very good throughout the tournament, and it's very difficult to win so many games in a row. We've won our league, we've won the Italian Cup, and those were objectives of the club, as well as to improve for the future and reaffirm ourselves as one of the best teams in Europe. And I think that we've done the things we need to do in order to achieve those objectives. I think that football, apart from coaching, a lot of it depends on the passion. Apart from the strategic and tactical side of football, I think that the fans have a lot to do with what goes on the field. And then looking at history, it's been a long time that you've waited to win another Champions League. And then talking about Luis Enrique, he was born in Italy and he coached Roma. Do you think that Juventus could have a little advantage, small advantage, because the coach of FC Barcelona is somebody that you know pretty well? Well, he knows Italian football, but it's a game that we're going to have to play very, very well during all 90 minutes, and we have to act like the game isn't going to end. We need to be conscious that the game can change at any moment. Talking about the game tomorrow, talking a lot about Barca's attack and Juventus' defense, and the play in midfield. And you have midfielders that are outstanding and have dreams of playing elsewhere in Europe. I think tomorrow the midfield will be key.
Just put your hand up over there in white, please.
Salve mister, Andrea Capretti, Radio Sportiva, le chiedo se in caso di vittoria della Champions Buffon e Tevez sarebbero 2 nomi spendibili per il pallone d'oro.
Sarebbero spendibili anche se la Juventus non vincesse la Champions.
Leo Messi and Luis Suarez, are they favorites for the Ballon d'Or? Or sorry, he's talking about Buffon. I think that they've said so many great things about Gianluigi Buffon that yes, he does deserve the Ballon